all right, we have to configure the VLANs. So to configure the VLANs, I want us to use the VLAN trunking protocol. What VTP means, it's more like a VLAN replication protocol. Okay, so essentially, if we want to configure VLANs on all these individual switches, it could be tedious. I mean, imagine a company that has at least more than 100 VLANs. You know, who has the time to sit down and configure 100 VLANs on every single switch manually? That would be crazy. All right. So that being the case, what VTP will do for us is just here on switch 1, we will go ahead and configure VTP on switch 1, switch 3, and switch 2. But the VLANs will only be configured on switch 1. And then now what's going to happen here now is switch 1 is going to be the server, and it's called the VTP server. Whatever VLAN information we give switch 1 is going to send these things out to all the other switches that meet the same parameters with switch 1. Okay, so it's more like the server, and everything else will be the client. So anything you change on switch 1 will be pushed out to the other clients. All right, so with that logic in mind, let's go to switch 1. Okay, let me pull this here to the window a little bit more. Okay, good. Okay, so we can have more. No, that's not what I want. All right. Let me just go ahead and close all these tabs. Good. So let's bring switch 1 back. Okay. That's a good window right there. Great. So on switch 1, let's do our VTP first. But before we configure the VTP, let's do some verification commands to see where what the VTP status currently looks like. Okay, and to be able to do this without doing a do command, I'll do show VTP. So I'll just do show VTP and hit the question mark so you can get to see all the commands under the VTP here. You should be able to see. There's the VTP counters. If you want to see the VTP password, this is it. If you also want to see the VTP status and all its parameters, you do show VTP status. So that's what I'm going to key in here. I'll press enter. So with show VTP status, it is telling me that this one is operating as a server. Okay, the maximum VLAN supported locally is 255. The number of existing VLANs is currently 6. The configuration revision is 3. So this is something I want to emphasize on a little bit. So this configuration register is going to increment in value every time the VTP server has received or have received a VLAN information that is supposed to replicate to the clients. And then this 3 will increment accordingly. Okay, you will see this happen in real time. VTP version right here, it is capable of doing 1 to 2. Okay, so I would opt for version 2. With that being said, so since we know the VTP status of the switch, we're going to go back into configuration mode. Okay, so we are going to change this VTP to a server. So we start with VTP mode, call it server. If I press on enter, it's going to tell you that this switch is already a server in the VTP setup. Okay, but regardless, I will still do it. The second thing you want to do is you configure the VTP domain. Okay, and this one I will call it VTP lab. That's what I will call it. That's what I will have as my domain name. So this domain name has to match on all the switches that you want to participate in this VTP setup. If I click on enter, you know, that works. Next, I will give the VTP a password, a much more complicated password, Cisco. Okay, and then don't forget to select the VTP version and make it version 2 and press enter. Now if you do a show VTP status, now let me walk you through what we have here. Okay, so the version we are currently running is version 2 because we made it so. The VTP domain name is VTP lab. Okay, okay, so the number of existing VLANs right now is still 6 because we haven't put anything in there. The configuration revision is 2. Okay, all right. So if you want to also confirm if actually this number of existing VLANs, it is showing you number 6 is actually accurate, what you will have to do here is go to show VLAN brief. So the default is 1, and you have this VLAN 99, and you have all this FDDI and the token rings. If you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is what you have here. are 6 VLANs currently in your VLAN table. Okay, so this VTP on switch 1 is done. All right, so let's go to switch 3 and also configure VTP here. Okay, so once this whole thing is done, guys, you will be able to see how all of these things come together. Okay, so let's confirm the VTP status on this. Yeah, so we don't have anything here. All right, so it has actually received the VTP domain from the server right now. Okay, but I'll still go ahead and manually configure this because I just like to do so to make sure I have it the way I want it. Okay, so VTP mode here, I will call it client, because if you look at this operating mode right now, by default it is on server, so I want it to be a client. Okay, I will do my domain, and if you remember, our domain is VTP lab in uppercase. It is case sensitive. Okay, VTP password, it have to match, the password has to match with the server's password. I'll press that, and there's no point in keying in VTP version on the client, and if you try to do it, it's going to tell you that the client does not accept the version configuration. This is because the server is going to post the version to all the clients, and that is why it is telling you you cannot modify a version in VTP client mode. Okay, so that's just something to take note of. So now let's go do our VTP verification on which do show VTP status. All right, so now the server has turned to client. Okay, the maximum number of VLANs supported here locally is 255. We still have 6 VLANs configured, or maybe by default it is 6. Our VTP lab is VTP lab, and we are supporting version 2. And if you can remember, we did not manually key in version 2 here. The server pushed it to the client. All right, so switch 3 is done as far as the VTP. Okay, so now let's go to switch 2. All right, good. So let's do show VTP status. I always like to verify to see what we have here. You know, so it is a server, but it has automatically received the VTP lab domain name from the server. You know, that tells me that our trunking is also working. So let's fine tune this and make it VTP mode a client. VTP domain, we make it VTP lab. VTP password, we make it Cisco. Okay, good. So I think this is all we need here, guys. Let me look at the stats. Oh, it's a client. It's on version 2. Yes. It is on VTP lab. Let me see the password. Do so VTP password. It is Cisco. All right, pretty cool stuff, guys. So now that we have our VTP in place, now I want you to watch this. We are going. I'm going to show you this verification on all the switches. Okay, so, and by the way, at this point you will notice that I use the do command a lot. So this is because it's just a little bit tedious to having to go back to the privilege mode to run your show commands. So with the do command, you can literally sit in every mode of the router you are in and be able to pull in the commands that you want just by using the do command. Okay, that is the reason why I make good use of it. Good. So now here we are. I want us to do verifications on our VLANs. So on every switch, I want you to take note of what we currently see. This is because I want you to see VTP in action. You know, it's a very, very handy protocol. It's a good replication device, replication protocol for VLANs. Do show VLAN brief. I'm gonna run this verification command on all of them. Okay, so you can see this and that, they are all the same, still on default. This is also blank. Good. So reason I am doing this is because once we start configuring our VLANs, I want you to see what happens with the replications. Okay, so now we are sitting on switch 1, this guy right here. Okay, we are going to do all our VLAN configurations here and watch them trickle down to these things. Okay, so our VLAN information, let me pull up our documentation here. You also have this in the packet tracer file, in the packet tracer configs on the side. Okay, but I want to verify the VLANs, the VLAN numbers, and also the names we are going to give to our VLANs. Okay, so that I have it here. Great. So VLAN 10, now VLAN 30 is going to be our guest. VLAN 10 is faculty and VLAN 20 is student. So let's start with VLAN 10. VLAN 10 is for faculty. Yes, VLAN 10 is for faculty. All right, so let's do VLAN 10 and we give it name. This is how you do it. Press enter. We'll do VLAN 20 name. Let me move this here a little bit so we can see the names as we go. Okay, so VLAN 20 is students. All right, we press enter. VLAN 30 name guest. Okay, VLAN 99, I'm going to name it management. Okay, press enter and then I will exit one. Good. So now we have entered VLAN 10, VLAN 20, 30, and 99 for management. Okay, but now what VTP can do for us right now is all these VLAN configurations we just did, we don't have to redo them on switch 3 and switch 2. Automatically with VTP in place, this switch is acting as the VTP server right now. Is going to push all this VLAN information to switch 3 and switch 2. Okay, so while we are still on switch 1, let's do our verifications to verify that we have the VLANs in place. Do so VLAN brief. All right, bingo. So we have VLAN 10 for faculty, 20 for students, 30 for guests, and 99 for management. Okay, let's look at our VTP status. If you look at the VTP status right now, the configuration revision has incremented to 9. So that means we've added 9 entities in the VLAN replication. So to confirm this has to work, let's go to switch 3. Do so VLAN brief, and mind you, we haven't done any VLAN configuration on switch 3, but we have VTP configured, and switch 3 is a VTP client connected to VTP server switch 1. Let's do this. Bingo. All right, VLAN 10 has made it here, 20, 30, and 99. Okay, if you also do show VTP status here, you can also see the configuration registration is also 9. This is a VTP client. It is on the same domain as the VTP server. So these are the important parameters you want to make sure they match. The same thing here. All the VLANs have made it here. Do so VTP status. Exactly the same. So we are good. All right, so this is perfect right now. Our VTP is working. We have configured our VLANs. Our trunkings are working. Our inter VLAN, our our sub interfaces are also in place on our router. So next thing to do now is to stay on switch 2. Stay on switch 2 and assign the various ports we have there to their individual VLANs, and then we can start doing our verifications and our testings from that point. Okay, so that being said, we are on switch 2. Let's see what interfaces we have here. Okay, we have all these 24 interfaces. We also have VLAN 99, 99.12. Okay, so if you look at our documentation, the same thing I've pasted for you in the file, in the packet tracer canvas. I have put in here the port assignments for you, so you know what port range to give to the switch ports. So on the switch port, from port 1 to 5 is a trunk, but I decided to do only 4 because the 5th one is not connected to anything. But now we are going to start from port 6 to 10. Okay, we want to assign port 6 to 10 to VLAN 30. All right, so to do that, you do interface range. Interface range helps you bundle these interfaces together and apply the same parameters to all of them at the same time. So interface range, fast Ethernet 0/1 to not 1. Let's see, 6 to 10. 6 to 10. Switch port mode, we make it an access because it is supposed to be an access port. We press enter. Switch port access VLAN is supposed to be in VLAN 30 because that is from port 6 to port 10. It goes to VLAN 30, it gets VLAN. We press enter and we issue a no shutdown command. We go ahead again and do interface range fast Ethernet 0/. We stopped at 10. Now we're going to have 11 to 17. Okay. Switch port mode, we make it access. Switch port access VLAN 11 to 17 is going to be sitting on VLAN 10. Okay, and we'll do a no shutdown. We do another interface range. Okay, interface range fast Ethernet 0/18 through 24. Okay, switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 18 to 24 is going to VLAN 20. Okay, and then we issue a no shot on this one. Great. So we have assigned all those end devices to their respective VLANs, as in 10, 20, and 30, as we have here in the diagram. So how do we verify this? Let me go all the way out. If I do a show VLAN brief, now you will see on the VLAN 10, you can see from port 11 to port 17 is all assigned to VLAN 10. On VLAN 20, from port 18 to 24 goes to VLAN 20. From port 6 to port 10 goes to VLAN 30. Okay, so by default right now, we have removed all the interfaces away from the default VLAN except these that you have here. I don't have no use for them at the moment, but these interfaces are all shut down. So I mean, I'm not worried about it. Okay, so with this in place, okay, at this point we've configured all our IP addresses. All the switches have their respective IP addresses for management. Switch 1 is 99.11, switch 2 is 99.12, and switch 3 is 99.13. Okay, we have an IP address on a web server. PC 1, 2, and 3 also have their respective IP addresses. So at this point, I have pretty much configured the entire network. Okay, and this is the fun parts we have left. That is verification and testing. So when we test and happens to be anything that does not work as expected, you and I will go through this lab and we'll troubleshoot, but hopefully it wouldn't get to that. So with everything we've done so far, this is the moment of truth. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull up PC1. I'll click on its terminal, not terminal, but the command prompt I meant to say. Command prompt right here. So this command prompt is basically what you will find on every computer that you are trying to use to troubleshoot. So the first thing I like to run on a virtual PC or every computer is ipconfig. This will give me the IP address information. And you can see PC1 has an IP address of .10.21. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and ping this PC on VLAN 20. So if you remember in our previous labs, anyone sitting on VLAN 10 is not able to ping any other node that is not sitting inside VLAN 10. All right, so the reason we are confident this time that it's supposed to work is because we have this router sitting here and the router is handling that job. So to see if our configurations are working as expected, this is how to prove it. So ping is basically sending an echo command, or maybe it's more like send a notification signal to the other end and be like, hey, I am here. Are you there? And then the other end will respond back and be like, yes, I am here. And then they'll exchange whatever they need to exchange. Okay. So ping the IP address for PC2 on VLAN 20. Mind you, we are currently sitting on PC1 that is on VLAN 10. So 172.17.20. And PC2 is 22. So if everything is working as expected, I should expect some good responses here. So let's see what we get. Okay, if it does not, we will troubleshoot. All right. Bingo. So the ping is successful. I mean, it took some time over there, but I mean, the packets have to find their ways through the network back and forth. That's also another subject matter for another day. But right now, all you want to see is this success pings. How cool is this stuff? All right. So we are able to reach an end device on VLAN 20. Let's try to ping something on VLAN 30 as well. 172 30, that will be PC3, 30.23. Let's see what we get. If that works as well, then it means PC on VLAN 10 is able to reach 20, is able to reach VLAN 30. That is successful too. So basically, we are able to ping from here to here and to here. Okay. Let me take a very crazy leap and try to ping from PC1 all the way to the web server. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? Let's do that. Because if that works, then it means from here all the way to this, to that, all the way here is all working. So that is going to give us a proof of concept that everything we've pieced together today is actually functional. All right. So the IP address for the web server over there, as you can see, is 172.17.50.254. Ta-da! It is pinging. All right. So pretty much we have everything covered. All right. We are able to do our verification testings, and also to be sure this is actually working as expected again. I always like to do the reverse. I will come back to the web server here, move it down to the side, and let me try to ping those PCs at the bottom. Okay. Dash T is just basically for continuous ping. So let's see 172.17.10.21. Yep, I'm able to reach PC1. This is PC2. I can reach PC2. I can also reach PC3. So I am currently sitting on switch 1. I want to ping switch 2 and switch 3. Switch 3 is 99.13. 172.17.99.13. So let's see if that works. Yep, it's successful. So from switch 1, we are able to reach switch 2. From switch 1, can we reach switch switch 3 was 13, so switch 2 is going to be 12. All right. Yeah, so it looks like we have good convergence in our network. All right, so this is it, guys. We've pieced all of these things together: VTP, VLANs, IP addressing. All right, so we're able to ping multiple VLANs back and forth, and that was all a success. So on that note, if this was very helpful for you, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would also love to hear your thoughts and your feedbacks in the comment section below. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video.